Hi, this is a short screencast to show you how to use Aviary to create your own custom soundtracks for your digital stories and how to put them into Photo Story. So the first thing we want to do is if we go to a web browser and go to aviary.com, this is where you'll get to. And they've changed something about the where you're supposed to go. But right here, this is where we want to go, looking for the original Aviary suite. So I'm going to click on that, and it's actually advanced.aviary.com. All right, so now what you're going to do is click on Log In. And since you all have a Gmail account or a Google account, you can log in with an existing account, and you can click on Google. Now, since I've already logged in, I've created a username, but before you get to this screen, if you've never done this before, it's going to ask you to create a screen name for Aviary. And so I would recommend using your Google Apps or your Google username to do that. But you certainly can do whatever you want. But anyway, so once we get to this point on the screen, we want to go over to the audio editor called Myna, and we're going to click on that, and it's going to load up. Now, I would maximize this for sure so that you can make sure you see everything. And you may get this quantum, you saw that quantum loops loading up. It may ask you if you agree with this terms of service. You want to click OK. And this is where you're basically going to start. What I'd recommend, and one of the first things you want to do is notice that this looks like Audacity. You have these are measures, musical measures, measure 1, measure 2, measure 3, but since we're not really a music class, we're more concerned with the time. And if you look down here, it says the tempo and it has the time. If I click on the time, it's going to actually switch this to actual seconds. And this is going to be important because you want to know how long you want to create your music that matches your photo story. And so what you're going to want to do first is go into Photo Story, find out how long your video is, and if you go in here and hit on preview, wherever preview is right here, it'll start previewing the video. And what I would do is just kind of scroll over to the very end, but don't go too far so you can see it. And this one's about 40-50 seconds long, so I know that I need to have about 50-55 seconds worth of music in my story. So to be able to see 55 seconds, I'm going to zoom out to get it to where it shows about a minute or so, and that looks like about a minute right there. So I got about a minute's worth of music right there. Now this is where the fun begins. You get to choose what kind of music you want to be able to choose to play, and you obviously want to find some music or create some music that's going to work well and to accompany the theme that you're using doing your digital story. So you may not want a hip hop one, but maybe you do. This one right here, I'm going to look at Adventures Beyond just as an example, and you have different songs that you can play, and within each song you have intros, loops, and ends, and I'll show you how that works. So like if I wanted to go to Adventurous, here's my intros, and if I click on the first intro, I can play it. All right, that's a first 4 seconds of an intro. There's another one. So if I like it, I'm going to drag it. So I'm going to take this one, I'm going to drag it up here, and there's my intro. Now I've got loops as well, and there's a ton of loops for each one, and you can really kind of customize the way that your sound works. So I'm just for grins, I'm going to just grab a few of these. There's loop 2A, and I'm going to put it right next to it. And then I'm going to grab loop 9A. Now, I haven't really pre-listened to this to really see how well they go together, but you'll get the general idea of how this works. And I can go in there and I can just keep filling these in until I get to about a minute or so. Let's see this. Let's go probably another 8 seconds. Let's go with this one, 23A. And I'm almost there. And now I've got all my loops. I've got a beginning, intro, an intro, a loop, and now I have to figure out what do I want to do for the end. And so I'll do this one right here. It's kind of like that. Okay? Now that is actually a little bit longer than a minute. So I may need to probably pull this one. I may pull this one off and move this one over, but that's too much. That's not enough. So I think I'm going to go find a long one here. Here's the 1A. This looks good because it hits right about a minute. Okay, so we're going to try that. And what you can do is listen to this to see how the loops just seamlessly, they just kind of seamlessly go together. And so I'll just kind of click over here. See, you can't tell the difference between the different pieces. But at this point, I've created a whole song. And so once you get it to where you like it, what you're going to do, of course, you need to save it. Give it a title. I'm going to call this my Flicker Storm soundtrack. Okay? And then I'm going to click Save as New Creation. And it's going to save the project. And one of the things it's going to do is ask you if you want to mix it down. Now remember, like Audacity, Photo Story, Windows Movie Maker, you have projects that you work on when you're actually working on the project, and then when you're done with the project, you usually export it as an MP3 or as a movie file or whatever. And this program, Aviary, the process is called mixing it down. Now that you've saved your project, don't forget to mix it down. When you mix it down, then you can download the MP3 file, which is what our goal is. So I'm going to click Mix Down. And it's going through the process, and it's going to take a few seconds. It's encoding it, it saves it, and then it says it only has about 6 seconds left. We're just kind of killing time until it gets done. But once it's done, it's going to give you the option of saving it as an MP3 file or as a WAV file. We're going to go ahead and choose the MP3 format because it's a little bit smaller in size and it's easy to import. And so we're almost done here. Almost done. Just a couple more seconds. And voila, there it is. Now it says, here's your creation. We've got the creation. You can actually play it if you want to preview it. And so you can see there it is. But this is the key. It says, do you want to download an MP3? You go, yes, I would. And then so, you sure you want to download this file? You go download. And where are we going to save it? That's right, the Y drive. So we're going to go to the Y drive, which is my Y drive down here somewhere. And I'm going to go to my Flicker Storm video, because that's where it is. And this is called Flicker Storm Soundtrack, and I'm going to hit Save. And so basically that's it. We're done. So I can close Myna. And I can now go into the music section of Photo Story, which is right here. And so instead of creating music, we're going to select music. And we're going to go to the Y drive, wherever you save that file. And we're going to go to, where's my Flicker Storm video? There it is. And there's my soundtrack. And it's going to pop in right there. Now, this is going to be key. You probably want to keep this really low, but you'll see what's going to happen when we listen to it. And then you're going to have to figure out how low do I have to put the volume of the soundtrack so that you can still hear your voice. Remember, your voice is the most important part of this. So if we can't hear your voice, that's not good. So make sure that you set it up that way. So I'm going to hit preview. And you can see that the music that I created goes right with that music. Now, I didn't put any narration on this example, but that's what you'll hear. And that's probably going to be too loud, I think. So I might even have to crank that a little bit lower so I can listen to it. So it just depends on, it's going to depend. But that's basically the process. And once that's done, before you do anything, click Save Project. And you're going to save the project just like you normally do. And you'll save it, and you're done. And then we'll talk about how to export it next time. So just focus on that today, and I think you'll be in good shape. All right, thanks a bunch.